No, it is a good comparison. I thought we were going to go to laptops and things like
No,
that.
no, 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 no. During when in things like this, I'm on point. I'm not straying off. I mean, I didn't say yeah. And Joe, he's in cahoots with whatever, and you can edit that out. But I'm just saying,
Dirty Joe.
I only argue with facts.
Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy
He took
Joe,
he took a
Bacon
tumble,
Joe,
didn't he? He fell down the stairs of
three
Air Force
times.
One. Yeah.
Yep,
He's an old lad.
78.
he's feeble.
Everybody
They had a meme of Trump out on the golf course hitting the ball, and the first time it hit him in the head, and he fell down the stairs, and then the second time it hit him in the head again.
Trump, he said he wasn't going to start his own party, didn't he? He said he's going to stick by the Republicans, which is right, because they looked after him, really.
Yep.
2022, what is it, 24, 26, when's the next one?
24.
24. Christ, if we're still doing the podcast, then that is going to be an argument.
Yeah.
Trump's going to be almost 80. He can't run for president then.
Sure he can.
They're calling him a kingmaker. He will call the next one. He will put the next one in play.
Yeah, don't let's not even go down that road right now.
Yeah. I don't
Slayer
feel
will
like
become angry. Like Slayer when he's angry.
because he will turn him to Bruce Banner.
By a bit, Bill Bixby over there. Slayer's dying inside. I wish I knew. I've known it my whole life. I'll stop. There's now going to be a zoom close up again.
turn green.
Well, you can only do so much of that before it becomes a copyright thing.
So have I changed your mind any, long shot? Have I convinced you that Harry and Meghan is the love story of our age?
Well, they can be the love story of our age. That's irrelevant to me. The way I look at it is they don't do anything for me. They don't pay my bills. They don't put food on my table. I could give two shits what they do. They want to go get drunk with their friends and have a strip party.
Go for
it. Go for it. I don't. It doesn't affect me in my life any way.
I think they just wanted 10 chickens. Now they're going through the chicken phase in life. I've already did the chicken phase.
Yeah.
About 35, 40.
Yeah, until one of the chickens attacks you.
Got an image of Cosy being chased by a chicken.
Oh,
He's been that way when he was young. Mine did.
oh my
You should've
Lord.
said that. You know when Family Guy has the chicken fight with Peter?
Yeah.
Pause.
It goes on for like half the episode.
Mm.
And then it comes back in like 3 episodes time.
Yeah,
And they just look at each other and start fighting again. Yeah, that's funny.
Really funny.
All the time they
So
wrecked that.
is there going to be a hot potato?
Not today.
No potatoes today.
No potatoes today. I just haven't had time to get into any stories. Like I said, I thought of a couple during the week, but I think it's too close to like the Texas story. I think it, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, you know what's going on in this country right now, right? With the shootings.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen some stuff about that. It's pretty bad.
Well, now the Democrats are going to be going after the guns again.
They ain't getting my guns.
They're gonna try to go after the guns. That's what HR 1 and HR 127, I think it is. It's gonna be the same thing that Clinton tried to do with. And
When
let's
you're
make
saying
it
those
perfectly clear,
apps
there is
doesn't
no
know
such
what that
thing
is.
as an assault rifle. An assault rifle is a misnomer.
You have to explain what an HR is to someone like Apps who doesn't get our
House rule, house regulation. No, house rule. That's
It's a
where
House
it's
resolution.
the process they start to pass a bill.
It's a House resolution.
So I have no dog in this fight, obviously, but what's like so that, as I understand it, there've been a few mass shootings, and now people are talking about like restricting certain types of guns or certain people's access to guns or something like that.
Well, no, they want more control over background checks, and we already go through a background check. We go through NCISC and we go through the FBI, and that takes about
So
10 minutes at the most.
What's the new one that they want to put in?
Well, they want to. The way I understand it is they want to. I can give my rifle to my son. I can give my rifle to my next door neighbor. I don't have to go through a federal firearms licensing at a gun shop to have the NCIC check and the FBI check done on that person before I can sell it to them. I can just sell it to them.
Okay.
I can lend it to them to go hunting or go target shooting.
Okay.
But what they want to do is, if I want to lend it to my son to go target shooting, we've got to go to the gun shop. We got to do all of that shit, and that's every single time it happens.
Okay, you have to understand. I live in Massachusetts. You cannot give your gun to somebody else. Whoever is the licensed owner of that gun is the only one that can possess and use that gun.
And just to your point there, Longshot. So you as a licensed, regulated, background check lad can buy a gun at a gun store or a gun show legally. You can take that weapon and you can give it to your next door neighbour to keep as a gift for Christmas or birthday or whatever, and he can have that and own that legally. That is the most stupid fucking rules I've ever heard. What if that person's mental? What if that person's unstable? What if that person's depressed? What if that person's suicidal? What if that person? Why is a ticket that says that's also a good lad a bad thing? Why couldn't they put a license in place that says I'm responsible? I can be lent a gun, or I can be gifted a gun, or I could, why isn't it the same?
Why would they
Well,
make
see, that's the thing, though.
Why is that a bad thing?
A responsible gun owner wouldn't lend their weapon to anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
That's the difference. You think that when they pass all of these rules, that the gun owners are going to be the only ones to follow it? What are the criminals going to do? The same thing they do all the time. They aren't going to follow because they don't give a shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And talking about gun laws, we have over 50,000 gun laws on the books. How about we start enforcing them before we start introducing more?
Well, I think it has to be both, doesn't it? You have to restrict and control because these tragedies can't continue.
Yeah.
And you
also
have to start enforcing what you have.
Okay. The two shootings that happened, what were the weapons that were used?
Well, the last
Anybody?
one was semi-automatic.
AR-15.
Well, see, this is what I was talking with a couple of you guys yesterday. I don't believe in taking any guns from anybody. But if you're going to own an AR-15 or a semi-automatic rifle like that, you should at least have to go take a class and get a license to pack that weapon. Now, that's just
To go
smart.
get a concealed carry license, you have to go through a class. You have to go through an 8-hour class.
Yep.
And you have to show proficiency with that weapon.
So I don't understand. Like you came in quite hostile. Like they're trying to take the guns. It doesn't sound like they're trying to take the guns. It sounds like they're trying to just
They are.
regulate.
They are.
Yeah, they're
They
trying
are.
to, yeah. But I mean,
They are. I'm not a gun owner. The only reason why I'm not a gun owner is because the state I live in is ridiculous. It's the hardest state in this country to be a gun owner. Is Massachusetts.
It's one of
the
them.
hardest.
Washington, D.C., Chicago,
So
Los Angeles.
What do you have to go through in Massachusetts to own a gun that's like more difficult than you'd have to say in Texas or something, where I assume guns are more liberal?
The classes, but the background check is everything. The background check they do in Massachusetts, they go back in your history, your entire life. So if you're 60 years old and you're going for a gun license, they're going to go back to when you were a teenager.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay? Which I'm not necessarily against, because it's something that you did if it was severe enough where you got arrested or whatever the case may be, that is relevant.
Or
But-
you've had a long-standing history of depression or mental illness.
In Massachusetts, the laws regarding guns is way different than like where Longshot lives, where the rest of them live in Kentucky. Their laws are way more liberal. They can carry guns around. They can get their gun a lot easier than I could here. Like I said, I would have to jump through hoops. I have a friend who just got his gun license. It took 9 months.
But that's the way
I
it should
could
be,
go
right?
out right now and buy a pistol and be back within an hour.
Yep. No, oh, go ahead.
Again, there's like, cause guys, this is foreign to me, and it's quite startling what you're saying.
Yeah, well, right
Surely
now,
every state should be like Massachusetts. Surely it should
No.
wait 9 months.
No.
No.
Why not?
No gun owner and that you're ever going to speak to is going to agree with the way Massachusetts.
But
handles
you
it.
guys are good guys, right? You're not felons. You've been respectable citizens your whole life. This is not aimed at you guys. You guys would still be able to have your guns and go shooting and hunting. This wouldn't affect you. You're good, responsible gun owners. So I don't understand
It would affect them. They would not have the freedom they have now.
yeah. Well, right now,
in Massachusetts, you have to be it's a lot different.
yeah, but right
the way it's
now,
handled.
But my point is, you could still get your gun, right? You could still get a pistol to protect yourself. You could still have a shotgun to go clay pigeon, and you could still buy a rifle to go and shoot deer, right? In Massachusetts, you can do all of those.
Yeah,
things.
but where they live, they can go in their backyards and shoot at stuff. In Massachusetts, if you get caught shooting in your backyard, you're getting arrested for discharging a weapon.
yeah.
But I'm also assuming that's because Massachusetts is like densely populated, where
Well, not everywhere. No, there's plenty of places where there's enough room and it would be safe enough to shoot in your backyard. But in Massachusetts, you just can't do that. You have to go to a gun range.
so
It's
that's
the only
different.
place you
That's
can carry a
different to
weapon.
England. In England, if the landowner agrees, I can shoot on their property as long as the pellet or shot doesn't exceed the property boundary. It doesn't matter. I can shoot.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, and these are FBI statistics.
Who you asking?
What everybody,
Okay.
well, especially you, what do you think are some of the top weapons that people kill other people with?
I already know the answer to this, so I won't even answer.
I would say guns would probably be the first one.
You're
then
wrong.
Knives would
You're
be
wrong.
the second.
Hammers, knives, and screwdrivers
Yeah,
guns
things are
are
more
way
easily
down.
accessible.
at the
Okay.
bottom of the list.
Okay, but most
But yet
murders
they're
are
only
single,
going
right?
after guns.
But most
Why not
murders,
screwdrivers?
m-
Why
most
not
murders,
knives?
long shot,
Why
most
not
murders-
hammers?
Yeah, most murders are.
Are committed by knives, hammers, and screwdrivers.
Let me make my point. Most murders are crimes of passion, business related. You're jealous. Someone's fucked you over. I'm going to hit you with a hammer. I'm going to stab you with a screwdriver. It's one person. It's one pissed off individual. It's not. It's not you're going into a school or any location with a hammer and killing 10, 15 people. You can't do that. Can
No.
you? It's
Well,
like you
it's
can't
like-
do that.
It's like a car wreck versus a airplane. Airplane travel is safer, but when they dive, if you have the AK and all that and the automatic, more people are gonna die at one time.
You can only own a fully automatic weapon in the United States if you have a Class 3 license.
We're not talking
The
about
only
fully
ones
automatic
that
stuff.
have fully automatic rifles are criminals.
But we're not talking about
Pistols
fully-
are semi. Well, she
Yeah, yeah.
said. She said
The
trigger
mental
word.
people
An
are
AR-15 that you're legally allowed to have is a semi-automatic. You are not allowed to have the
Yeah,
gun
yeah.
fully auto like we
but
do
like,
in
okay.
video games.
So you've got a semi-automatic. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5.
Yeah,
that's 6.
yeah.
Right, okay, yeah. But I'm
Some
still.
states you
still
can.
have
Some
a
states
adapter. They still
bump stock.
Yeah,
they'll
bump
get
stock.
stock.
We'll make it fully automatic because when it
It makes
hits,
it basically full automatic.
yeah, fully
It
automatic.
takes the recoil and it literally
Bumps it.
Keeps it. It does that and it pumps it so that you literally get like a full auto action out of it.
Yeah.
and the Supreme Court recently ruled that bump stocks do not make an automatic weapon.
And
I
you
mean-
cannot have, but you can't have them in
They
Massachusetts.
obviously don't make an
No
automatic
bump.
weapon, but they up the fire rate.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying to me.
Yes.
They make it
Yes.
possible to fire quicker. Okay.
Yep.
It makes fire like Warzone.
Well, I mean, like literally, like right now in the state of Kentucky, we have a law called open carry. I don't have to have a license as long as my pistol is out in the open, not covered. I can legally pack my pistol anywhere I want to. Well, besides,
There's a
few
bunch of
places,
states like
but
that.
Well,
but
that's what the Constitution, the Second Amendment, gives you that right to do that.
yeah. See,
It's not the state.
Bear arms.
yeah, we only got that law. I'd say what about a couple years ago, and now I can defend my family without having to go and paying hundreds of dollars for a license to conceal it.
Let me. I don't know exactly about Kentucky, but I know in Ohio, if you're going to open carry and carry that weapon in a car, you can't have a round chambered. You can't have rounds in the magazine. You have to do that when you stop and get ready to get out of your vehicle.
Here
And
you
then-
can have it loaded. I can have it in my glove box and in my center console.
Okay, like I said, different states have different little nuances with that type of law. Now,
Apps,
with
and
the
you heard
concealed
that, right? That's without a
carry,
license.
But I think if you do get pulled over or something, I think you have to tell them.
Yeah, you have to tell the law.
that
The window
there is a
they
gun in
drop.
here and it is armed. It is loaded. Round in the
put
chamber.
your
You have to
hand.
tell 'em that.
Yeah, hands on the steering wheel, don't move.
Every different
I have
vehicle,
to
at
tell
least,
a
that's what
cop.
they tell you.
First thing I have to tell a cop if I get pulled over is CCW, but he already knows that because that's on my It's not on my registration, but I'm registered with the law enforcement, and it'll come up when they run my tag.
What is CCW?
Concealed
carry
deadly.
weapon.
Yeah.
But you're this is my point. You're a massively responsible gun owner, long shot. You've got your stickers. You do it in the right way. You know the law by the letter. Why does introducing more checks just to make sure that you're not the wrong sort of person affect you? Because you're not. You're a responsible gun owner. You're a proud American citizen operating under the Constitution. That's what it's there for. These checks, to me, as an outsider, and again, I am an outsider to all of this, seem to be checks and balances to make sure that not stupid things like you as a responsible gun owner or someone who's licensed as a responsible gun owner can go and buy 5 and go and give them to your mate who's not. That seems like a good idea to me.
But we have 50,000 laws on the book. How many more checks and balances do you need? 50,000.
More until you stop getting mass shootings.
It's name for me the last legal gun owner that did a mass shooting.
The guy in Texas who shot the people at the festival. He was in
yeah,
a hotel
concert.
room and he just opened up on them.
How many years ago was that?
About
About 4.
3-4 years ago.
It's
Yeah.
not an everyday thing, and
It wasn't in Texas. It was in Las Vegas.
yeah,
Vegas, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the concert?
Yeah, the concert.
Yeah.
But the only way you're gonna stop all of this shit, and you won't hear it on the news, is a legal gun owner in possession of a gun. You don't hear about them stories.
So
All you hear about is Joe Blow
I'll
shot
counter.
a fucking disco.
I'll counter. In England, we had a really bad mass shooting in a place called Dunblane. They banned us from having rifles and pistols. No more mass shootings. In New Zealand and Australia, they had the same thing. High capacity rifle, mass shooting. Banned guns completely. 0 mass shootings in Australia since that, man. 0. And this is not like you guys aren't different.
Chicago, the strictest gun laws in the United States. Some weekends it's 116 people shot with.
But it
12
doesn't
dead.
it doesn't work if these guys aren't allowed guns and everyone over here is allowed guns, because those guns can easily get over there. Until you say, no one gets them if you can't behave. And that's really what it is, right? We have to go with the most stupid people. That's what the law's there for. The law's not there for you. The law's there for the idiot who's not going to be responsible. So we always have to go with the most idiotic. And if people continue to do this, at what point do you say it's not worth it? We keep getting all of these horrible things happening. Let's just get rid of it.
But the only
Why
thing
that
is,
such a bad thing?
I'll do a counterpoint on your little town you just talked about. Kennesaw, Georgia, passed a law probably 15 years ago that every home must have a gun in it. The crime rate dropped so drastically that they let police go. Are you gonna fuck with somebody if you know he has a gun?
I wouldn't fuck with someone anyway.
Well,
Well, that's not the point.
Yeah, but it's not the again, just like you're saying, the laws aren't there for you. The laws are there for the idiot that is gonna fuck with somebody.
well, see, here's the
That is
thing.
gonna break into someone's house.
If
So
you-
so like, and this is just a hypothesis. You ban all guns, all of them, right? They're gone. You can't buy them. And if you're caught with a gun, if you're caught with a bullet, it's life. No parole, no getting out when you're 80. You're gone forever. So it's
Okay, how
serious.
about the knives, screwdrivers, and hammers? We're gonna outlaw them too.
No, of course not.
More
Because
people
knife,
are killed. More people are killed by them, though. That's the point.
yeah, but a knife, a screwdriver, and a hammer isn't designed to kill someone. A gun is.
Evidently, it must be. They're the top ways people
No,
are
no,
killed.
you're getting off the point.
No,
Like
that is the point.
you get rid of guns, you make it extremely incarcerable or penetrable or whatever. You make the penalty to have a gun or a bullet so high that it's not worth it. I guarantee you won't have any more mass shootings.
Okay, then we need to take away the cars too, because there's more people are killed by these fools that run up on sidewalks than what there are guns.
But they're not children in schools. You're right. Screwdrivers kill people, hammers kill people, cars kill people, but not en masse in schools.
Okay, I'll put it this way. You know what I'm holding in my hand right now? You saw it sitting to my right hand
Yeah.
side. This has never killed anybody.
Yeah.
Not one soul.
Yeah.
It's not the gun, it's the person that has the gun. We
But
need to ban people. We need to ban
100%. It is the person who squeezes the trigger. But if they didn't have a trigger to squeeze, they wouldn't.
No, they'd have a
It's
screwdriver
an illogical.
or a
It's a
hammer.
logical. It's a logical answer because you say someone is so committed that they're going to go and do this. Okay, fine. So they get a knife and they get a hammer and they go in and they go to do their thing. Suddenly, it's so up close and visceral, and you've got to go one, and then you've got to get to this, and you've got to fight, and you've got to. It's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It just doesn't happen. You know, people don't go in with hammers and start massacring people because every cunt jumps on them. This is a really sensitive subject, but every cunt jumps on them, beats fuck out of them. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a gun and you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's over.
Well, see, here's the thing: if you take guns away, they're still going to be here. The criminals don't give a shit. They'll go across Mexico or anywhere else,
Yeah. So
get their weapons.
So extreme that it's not worth it. Why do you need a gun?
Murder's already in prison or getting execution, but it still happens all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
The gang is not going to care about,
No.
Yeah, they're not
they're
gonna
taking it every day. You know, they could.
there's so many guns.
We're not talking about gangs. We're not talking about criminals, right? Criminals use weapons in the line of criminality. Why are people criminals? Because they want to make money,
Honestly, I
right?
think we're
9
talking
times
about
out of
evil
10,
people.
if you're exactly that, if you're in a gang, if you're in a criminal, you have a gun or a pistol to go and rob someone, to defend yourself from being robbed, or to threaten someone. If you're that type of criminal, you're not going to go into a school and shoot a load of people. You have to be deranged to do that. So you're right, Longshot. Criminals will still have guns. But normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill criminals aren't the ones doing this.
And the thing with your brain is you can be normal or just snap or you could hide it completely well. I mean, there needs to be. It just
Honestly, just get rid of them. It'll save you so much headache. Just get rid
Well,
of them.
okay. Even
I don't
if
have
we get
any
rid
of
of
them.
them, we still need mental for mental illness in people. People don't talk about it.
You're not gonna set a handgun or a shotgun and fully load it and set it down on the table in front of you and say go kill somebody. It's not gonna do it because it's an animate object, right?
Exactly.
It's an inanimate object. It's not a live thing. The thing that kills them is the person that's holding it, right? See, I kind of side both ways with this. I'm not a gun owner, right? I know I'm not a gun owner, but I know people who own guns that are, like us, that are good people. It's never killed nobody, but like, I can kind of see where it needs to be regulated more. But at the same time, right? But if it is regulated more, I don't know.
For
Like,
me,
this
it's
is a really hard subject to try to. I think that's why everybody's like, "Oh, ban them, but don't ban them. Oh, ban them, but don't ban them," kind of thing. I don't know. It's a really hard thing to go against.
I think
And
it's
from
more
outside
of
looking in,
the-
we've seen examples of, you know, what's happening in America happen elsewhere, and they have just completely got rid of the guns, and it's stopped. So it comes down to, do you want to keep your weapons, or do you want to stop having these things happen? And it seems like it's a
Okay.
resounding no. We're not going to get rid of the weapons. It's written into the Constitution. So I think it's sort of hollow when you say, "Oh, hopes and prayers," and "Oh no, how terrible." Well, you have the opportunity to stop it, and you choose not to.
Okay, if it's not going to be guns, then what's going to stop someone from running into a school and going Allah Akbar? Psh.
Well, you have systems of intelligence that stop people ever getting to that stage.
Well,
You
then
know,
why don't they
someone's
stop them
preparing.
from doing school shootings?
Well, okay, this
Because
is
they
it's
won't-
really
they won't
interesting
even
because
put
there's
a
been
metal
a lot of
detectors at
subjects.
doors to protect your children.
It's
It's not important enough. It's
You know,
more
it
important.
doesn't matter whether you ban guns, you ban knives, you
No, it
ban
does.
hammers. Somebody's going to find a way to kill people, either singularly or in mass.
Bare hands.
It's the way it is.
It
You know
is
what I mean?
true, but like you could stop it being so bloody easy.
I don't.
You know?
I don't think
Maybe,
it
maybe
would.
that's it. Maybe we give people half a chance. If
I
we
don't-
take away the guns, this goes down. It just does. It's proven to in other countries, in other populations. Unless there's something so inherently aggressive about Americans that, and I don't think that at all. I really don't. I just think you're normal people. I think you've been built up and blown up and hang on to this idea of the Second Amendment and freedom's freedom, and you don't see the wood because of the trees. This is
Well, we
actually
can say the
harming
same
your
thing about the
population.
monarch.
It's true, you can. But the
But-
monarchy isn't.
The monarchy does kill people. You kill people in
It
the
does.
Falklands, you kill people in Afghanistan. You know, that's not going to fly because ultimately you're
You can't,
Or
you
if they're
can't,
in
you
charge.
can't, you can't like compare professional soldiery to mass shootings. I think that's a very unfair sort
Well,
of
I'm not-
analogy.
it's the principle is still the same. People are
People
being
die.
killed by
Yeah.
guns.
It's true.
That's my whole point. I
So
would
it has
be
to.
the
So
last
it has to
fucking
be
person on
to
this
do
earth
with the.
put
It
down
has
the
to be to do
military
with the
for doing
reasoning,
their
then,
job.
right? It has to
Not
be to do with
necessarily-
the reasoning and the
You said they
the
you said they
morality
die by
behind it.
guns. It's not necessarily true.
There
Dying
is
by
so
guns
many.
is not-
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
so
know.
many unmarked weapons in the United States. Even if you did ban them, they would never get
like
them
that
off.
was the argument in Australia. That was the argument in New Zealand. That was the argument in Britain. And they made the penalty so severe that criminals thought, no, fuck that. I thought it's not worth being caught with. I
It's
don't like.
criminals. They're criminals.
Criminals are criminals, right? But if you got a bit of blow on you and you're selling cocaine or heroin to junkies, you're going to do 7 years. If you get caught with a gun, you're going away for 50 years. So you don't have a gun.
They don't give a
I don't
shit.
think, no, I think in
No, you're
your
wrong, they
country
do.
right now, if you're caught with a pistol, an illegal weapon, I think you get 5 years.
It's not
If you
true.
didn't
It's
use
5
it
years
illegally.
per bullet, mate. It's 5 years per bullet.
Is it 5
Yeah,
years
yeah.
per bullet?
On top of the gun charge, on top of the possession of illegal weapons, on top of whatever else they throw at you. You'll go away for a long time, and you go to serious prison. Not like, normal prison. You go proper prison for that, where the really horrible people are. So it does work. They banned them, they got rid of them, they put the penalties in. We don't have mass shootings. Australia doesn't have mass shootings. New Zealand doesn't have mass shootings.
I think
Yeah,
though, instead of using that, right, like instead of using that as a way in this country to prove, as you're saying, that it would prove that there would be no more, be less killing. Instead, it is being to we can't be them. Don't let them make you them. Don't let them take everything from you. You'll be like them.
But
Do
New
you know why
Zealand
the
is one of the
Japanese
happiest
didn't invade
populations.
America?
What was
What was that?
Do you know why Japan didn't invade America?
Because you had the atomic bomb.
No, we didn't.
No,
have a bomb.
because of how many armed Americans there were.
The saying was Yamamoto said, "Behind every blade of grass is an American with a rifle."
Yeah,
But
it's
that,
true.
that doesn't
we
stop.
we
that
have
doesn't
not
stop
been
an atomic
invaded
bomb.
since existence.
Well, you were the original invaders, right?
Well,
Exactly. But no, the Crusaders were the original
Yeah,
invaders.
yeah,
So were
the
the
Europeans
Mongols.
way back when. But like, I hear what you're saying, but that was 70, 80 years ago, and the world's changed, and now the weapons are much smarter, and it doesn't matter if you got a pistol or an AR, you're dead if you like a drone in the sky, mate. You won't even see it. You know, so an armed American is going to stop an invasion. That's not true. It would just be a different sort of invasion these days. And like our army,
Never saw the
it's
movie
interesting
Red Dawn,
because
have you?
yeah, I have. I love Red Dice, and they did a remake that wasn't that good. But our armed forces, they're reducing the size of our armed forces by 20,000 soldiers this year, and they're putting all of that money back into technology, defense, anti-hacking schemes, and robotics, AI, drones. Like it's no longer soldiers on the battlefield with a gun. It's now a smart bit of kit in the sky. You know, so
What they've been trying to do for a long time is
well,
take the human out of the
then
battle.
you can commercialize war, and you can have as many wars as you want, but your civilian population is not going to be affected. So you can generate all that money, you know, through warfare, and everyone
Without
doesn't have
loss
to die.
of life.
Do you know what I mean? We just need a battle arena now.
Battle
War,
box.
war, wars.
Antarctica.
Yeah,
There
war.
was a movie years ago that the way the world fought wars was, and it was America and either Japan or China. America sent their best man, and that other country sent their best man, and whoever won that fight won the war.
Yeah,
I can't
but
remember what the name of it was.
wars ain't won by how many soldiers you lose. It's about how many civilians you lose.
Yeah, I remember that story from Vietnam. The guy walks into all the top generals and he says, "Do you know how we win this war?" And he just pours out rice. It's all about the civilian population, hearts and minds.
Firebombing of Tokyo, firebombing of Dresden and Berlin. I mean, they did the same thing to you, bombing of London with the Blitz.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was it? The BB rockets or whatever they were? No, the BB rockets.
Yeah.
Buzz bombs.
The whistling ones, they go, "Meow." Yeah.
That's the buzz bomb.
My nan, like she said, her dad used to go up out of the air raid shelter and just watch London being blown up. Wouldn't go down in the air raid shelter. He said, "I'm not staying down there." The English spirit, though, you know.
Just get out of town.
Where was that?
Doodlebugs is the V. They were called doodlebugs.
Where did the There was
Yeah,
a bombing
right.
that occurred years ago. I remember it, and it was at this like kind of rally or a race kind of thing. I can't remember
Boston.
if it happened over there.
That was the Boston Marathon. They set a bomb off, didn't they, at the end of the
Yeah,
Boston
they set up
Marathon?
Crock pot.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's not. I went to there a week after that happened to see the memorials that people had started for them. It really was impactful. Very sad. A lot of people's lives were changed that day. I mean, yeah, everybody knows about the 4 that died, but how many people lost limbs
Yeah.
was incredible. And a lot of their stories were that, you know, they followed them for years, and it's pretty amazing how many people bounce back and you know, are living productive lives still after having a life-altering event like that happen to them.
And you
I
think,
think
of
that's
loss
the
of
spirit.
limbs, right?
You think of loss of limbs for anybody is hard, but to an athlete, it's
that
would be so
Devastating.
much to an athlete.
Well, none of the races were hurt. It was people that were spectating. That's where all that's who got hurt.
Yeah.
There wasn't any runners that got hurt.
I thought a few of the runners got some shrapnel.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but the biggest injuries were all from spectators.
Because it was right
Loss
over
of
on
life.
the side, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, people, because that's where they dropped the book bags that had the backpacks, excuse me, that had the pressure cookers in them. They left them like in the crowd of people watching the race,
Yeah.
and
I
then
think it
walked
was-
away.
What
Was
about
he
the
really-
At the finish line against the wall.
the Olympics too? Wasn't there bombing
Yeah.
there as well in the bleachers?
Trash can.
Well,
They
something
made
was-
a movie about it. Richard Jewell, that was his name. He was a security guard that found the bomb, and they tried to blame it on him.
It's crazy.
It is, like I said, it doesn't matter if you take guns away. They will get you any way they can. The bombs, the pressure cookies, those were shrapnel bombs. They are well, they're among the worst bombs you can
Yep.
get because
So,
they're made
what-
to inflict mass casualties.
What we've seen over here is a transition and really the success of our anti-gun campaign, and it's been hailed as a huge success. Time was you used to get IRA firing rockets at pubs and blowing pubs up and fertilizer bombs and all that sort of carry on, and then it's transitioned to fake suicide vests and knives, so they can't get guns, and they can't make bombs. They can't get the chemical ingredients, or they haven't got the skill
That's
set.
all regulated as well.
Yeah. So now they've got fake suicide vests and knives, which is still bad and it's still hurting people, but it's not what we're seeing on the continent. You know, when they attacked France, it was fully automatic AKs that have come through Turkey and made their way through across Europe, basically, and been channeled by, you know, really bad guys. But that doesn't get to England. And I think one of our advantages is we've got a moat, basically. We've got water all the way around us. So anything that's coming in is not coming in cars or smuggled. It's got to come in a boat, you know. So all of our checks are working. So when we do have these horrific events, it's not the bombs, it's not the guns, it's the fake vests and knives, or at least touch wood. That's what it's been, you know. So I think that's progress. You know, I think in the grand scheme of things, that's a de-escalation. It's still bad, but it's not what you lot have got.
Yeah, but those shrapnel bombs, they'll take out more people than what we're
But
taking out.
they're complicated to make, and then you've got to carry it, you've got to rig it, you've got to set it. That's like weeks and weeks of preparation, right?
I could
to
go
put-
underneath my kitchen sink and make a bomb.
But you're in the know. You've been in the military. You're a Marine. You're expected to know these things off the cuff. We're talking about civilians who've been indoctrinated to this, or they're trying to learn through the dark web or something like that. First go round.
It's on this internet that we're on right now.
I'm sure it is. The anarchist cookbook and things like that.
I wasn't going to mention the name to give anybody any ideas.
You can't buy it. You can't get it anywhere. And if you do, you go on the list and you're watched. You know.
I'm glad I already got my copy.
Now you are. This is going on the internet. What are you doing, Longshot? You're gonna get a knock by the men in suits, mate.
I don't care. I have no idea where that book's even at. I haven't seen it in probably 20 years.
See, it's basically a chemistry book that was written by a chemist in the 20s or 30s, years ago. But there's also one it came out over here, and it's basically this mad scientist, and he lived in sort of middle of England, and he wanted to research. It was LSD and all the variations of psychoactive substances that he could make, and he came up with about 20 or 30 different psycho substances that like tripped you out and did all these different and cool things. He tested himself and his wife. They basically built a lab at the bottom of the garden and created all these trippy drugs, and they were testing it on each other, and they wrote a book, published the book, and like scientists love it because it's a really great chemical analysis of certain molecules. But the police got a hold of it, came around the house and knocked on the door and was like, "Are you actually doing this?" It's like, "Yeah, come in, I'll show you." And they showed him his lab and his research and everything. He ended up getting arrested, and he was like, "I'm literally a scientist researching this." But you can buy that book, and it's really, really simple to make some of that stuff if you've got a slight chemical knowledge.
No.
But I won't tell you the name of it, but you can probably find it if you Google it.
I've seen some intriguing things cooked up in bathtubs before.
Gin.
You can go to a cow pasture and.
Oh my god, this edit is going to be a nightmare. I say
Sorry.
leave it all in. No,
Sorry.
we leave it all in.
Sorry,
Oh,
Cincy.
Cincy's already absorbing it over there. Oh,
He's like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
we love you, Cincy.
Yeah.
No.
Rooms, eh?
So how much is this gonna have to be edited?
I think we just mark this up as what it is, and we just put it out. You know, this is. I think we've put out really honest opinions in this podcast, and I think we've had some good debate. I think it's going to get lacerated by all of the checks and balances, but I think this is good. What do you guys think?
I think it's good.
For the people
Well,
watching, we literally had a meeting. We had a meeting and we sat down and we said, right, these are the rules and guidelines of our advertisers, and we can't talk about this, and we got to stay in the light. And like, well, you've heard it. It's completely gone out the window in this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Out the window.
Jerry Springer on the internet.
Yeah.
We know people who's been on there.
Yeah, we do.
Live down the
That
street.
doesn't surprise me, Daisy.
And we went over to their house, and did you know we were on Jerry Springer? No, really? Oh, gosh.
Showing your nan. Nan, I was on Jerry. Come and watch.
Hey, I got an
What the
appointment.
French
No.
toast?
I got the hell out of there. I didn't want to sit and listen to that shit.
But that's like, yeah. We had things like that. We had Jeremy Kyle and all this sort of thing. There was a great meme. There was a great meme. It's got like this guy sitting there on the Jeremy Kyle show. He's like toothless and like all this. And it says, "Roses are red, violets are blue. If the DNA test proves my sister, I'll stop sleeping with you." Fucking fantastic. That's TV right there.
Yeah, boy. I think we've
I still
known
like Graham Norton best, though.
about 5 people.
Five people on the Jerry Springer.
One of them lives actually just right up the road up here from us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find that and send it to you.
Oh, Lord God.
Co-host.
Oh my God.
So
Okay.
They sound more redneck than me.
I don't believe that. No one is more redneck than you, Daisy.
You have not seen this.
No.
I'd be the same if I'm honest. If I had a gun and someone was telling me that they were going to take it away, I'd be like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I completely get where you're coming from, but from the ethical, moral standpoint, you've got to see where I'm coming from, right? Silence in the room.
I am
Just silence in the room.
I refuse to be punished for what other people do.
Yeah, pretty
I am
much.
not responsible for what they do.
That makes
But how can we help?
It does make sense.
We're the responsible ones, right? We're the ones that's gonna get a gun and we ain't gonna hurt nobody. Well, how do we help as responsible people to keep them away from someone who is gonna hurt people?
someone who's going to be irresponsible with it.
How do we? I know.
That's the
know
thing.
it's so
You
hard.
can't tell. That's the thing. It's so damn difficult to look at someone and judge them and say, "Are you going to go and do something horrible that no one would ever imagine themselves doing?"
And then
Or
who
are
are
you
you to decide?
And who are you to? So why don't you just forget all of that? You know, just fucking forget it and get rid of the guns, and then you wouldn't have this problem.
Oh yeah, we
There
would.
wouldn't be this conundrum. There wouldn't, you know.
Okay, and then when I have poor people breaking into my house with guns, what the hell am I supposed to do? Am I going to
Say, I'm very sorry, lads. Take whatever you would like, and I'd claim the insurance back.
That
Because
doesn't work.
it's just shit.
That doesn't work. They don't like leaving witnesses.
Yep.
And this is the narrative that you come back to, and it always comes back to this narrative whenever we have the gun debate. It's like protection. My family, gotta have it for the house. 4 people. What sort of enemies do you have?
Dude, this
Why are 4 people in
United.
Balaclava's gonna break into your house? You're like 65 years old. Have you ever been broken into while you're at home and think, "Oh, I need my gun"?
Yes.
Not while I was home.
No, you haven't, because people hear a dog or you moving about and they piss off because they're not mass murderers and like balaclava goons with guns.
People that we have to worry about aren't stable because they're on
Meth. Drugs is what is the problem. The drugs are more the problem than the guns, because you get people on meth, they make stupid decisions, and you know.
They poisoned their brain. And
I mean,
there was
my
my
brother
brother
about 2 years ago. He heard a knock or some, something on his porch. And he opened up the door, and there was a stark naked woman standing there going, "Where's Joe?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's like Michael right down here. A crazy woman down there, buddy, kept trying to break into his house. You know, I mean, he come out, started firing shots above her head, and she left. I mean, she was trying to break into his house, and him there.
Would you go out and start shooting at her fucking head? Just go out and go, "Are you okay? Do you need some help? Can I get you a bowl of soup?"
That was priceless. The look on your face when he said that.
Yeah, but man, you gotta think, she was literally trying to.
Holler backward and forward, making sure there was nobody out too.
I mean, okay.
Gunslayers. Like, I'm not kidding. That's what we.
Guys, I understand having a shotgun in your house in case a bear comes or someone, breaks in. The UK is cool with us having shotguns.
Or if you don't have enough money to buy a 6-pack, you can just go to the store and get one.
I can have up to 99 shotguns in my house. If I have 100 shotguns in my house, I have to have an alarm that goes straight to the police. That's it. And I've got to have a safe on the wall that you can't move, and they've got to be in a safe. If I want a rifle, it stays at the club, or I can take it shooting with me when I go shooting, and it can be in the car as long as I'm going to or from a shoot. That's legal. Our weapons are for recreation. They're for hunting. They're for shooting. They're for tradition. They're not seen as active self-defense, and I think this is where there's the big difference, because right to bear arms it comes from us, right? Because we were the tyrannical government who held over you. It was so every American can defend themselves, and then a government can't come in and dictate, and that's great, and I understand that. But it's not really that way anymore, is it? We're in the modern world. Can't you guys transition from seeing guns as self-defense to shooting and sporting? Why is that such a hard thing? Because I think if you start to look at them as not my last line of defense against the bad guys, and look at them as a great day out with the kids to go shoot some clay pigeons or something,
That's what my guns are for, pretty much.
You don't have all of this sort of carry on that you need an AR. You don't and I know you don't like the term AR, long shot. I know you don't like that term. High capacity rifle, basically.
Do you know what AR stands for?
Assault rifle.
No.
Yes,
Armalite Rifles. It's the maker of the rifle. AR, Armalite.
Originally it may have, but it's been taken and used to mean assault rifles these days. And language is fluid, as we all know, so that's not...
And that's the media giving it that name. Like I
think that's everyone. Like an AK-47 is an assault rifle in everyone's mind, right? And an AR is an assault rifle. It may be semi-capacity, but it's an assault rifle.
I have many people that will argue that with you.
But okay, so whichever way we want to define it, for any sort of sporting, you wouldn't really need that type of gun. You would need a shotgun or a bolt rifle for hunting or whatever, But you wouldn't need 15 round, one step down from military grade, which is realistically what an AR is, isn't it? AR-14 is one step down from what the military are using.
Yeah, and I don't need a 50 cal.
It's not really needed unless you're defending yourself.
The only thing that is familiar
or attacking
is the shape, the way it looks. That's it. The trigger, the bolt. So it's the same bolt. They are nowhere near what the military is.
It's the same style. It's in a likeness of. I agree. It's not the military weapons, because it's not fully automatic, and some of the components will be different. I think if America transitioned from self-defense to hunting and fishing,
Fishing with a gun.
Well, do you know what I mean? The great outdoors.
We use dynamite.
Fishing with hand grenades. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that dynamite's illegal too.
I don't know. It's a culture thing, I guess.
Do you feel protected?
Yes.
We don't.
100%. I can walk down the street. I can walk down the street and feel absolutely fine because no cunt's got a gun. If I was walking down the street and everyone had a gun, I'd be like, me.
Okay.
You
make a point there. But what I'm saying is, if you had to call the cops because someone was breaking into your house and they were trying to be violent with long shot screwdriver, how long would it take the cops to get there? And how would they behave?
It'd be 20 minutes.
They live just up the road. Like the largest police station in South London is just there.
We have one, two, maybe.
But my point is, I would not call the police. That's not me. I would not call the police if someone's breaking into my house. I would go at them with everything I had, and once they are beating blood at you or fucked off, then I'd call the police and make a report that someone tried to break in and blah blah blah. But in that moment, no. Baseball bat, knife, hammer, everything that Longshot says is a killing weapon, that's what you go for. And if I had a gun, absolutely I would go for the gun as well. But if I go for that gun, I'm going to kill that man. And if I go for a hammer, I'm probably going to give him a really bad concussion.
Well, for us, maybe it's like you know when you try to get something out of the machine, vending machine, right? And you kick it and it worked, and it got done quicker. Maybe that's how our brains are seeing it. Like,
No, 100%. It's the easy option. It's the easy option, right?
Everybody leave me alone.
It's the easy
I
option.
could.
But this is the thing. So someone breaks in your house, and you, as an American, shoot that man dead, right? Doesn't matter if that guy is smacked out of his head on meth. Doesn't matter if he's desperate for money because his family's starving. That's a dead person. Me as an English person, someone breaks in my house, I'm gonna fucking beat the hell out of them, but they're gonna live. They're gonna go to hospital. They will continue. Maybe they turn their life around. Maybe they did have children. Maybe they were in a really bad state. But it's not someone dead. And that's the thing. I think it de-escalates from bang, you're dead, to okay, you've done something wrong. You're now going to be dealt with by the justice system. You're now going to be punished for your crime. Maybe you can rehabilitate. It goes back to that human thing, that we're all human, and we shouldn't be trying to kill each other at the first fucking sight.
But how do you know that I'm gonna shoot to kill? I'm not.
No, I'm not
Any
either.
shot you take, mate. Any shot you take, you know that. You know that. You can hit him in the leg and he bursts that artery and it's all done. You know.
Yeah, you can crack him in the head with a hammer too, and you can cause a brain bleed.
Yeah. If I hit someone as hard as I possibly could, it would probably kill them. Like, you can hit someone and kill them if you if you hit them hard enough. Yeah. But it's about reasonable force, right? It's about someone breaking into your house is not in a life-threatening situation. Scary situation, but you're not in a life-threatening situation.
Well,
if someone breaks into your house with a knife and goes, "I'm gonna fucking do you," then you're in a life and death situation.
Yeah, you know, most time when they break in.
Great.
So when do you make that determination?
You don't
in the
have control over how hard you're going to hit them.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
Not when the adrenaline's flowing.
No. Well, it depends. You know, it depends on you as a person. But like everyone I know and grown up with, we've been stabbed, we've been cut, and we've been in lots and lots of fights. But none of us have been shot. None of us have been threatened with guns or anything. So, you know, bad stuff does happen. It's just not as an extreme as a response as what you guys go to or turn to.
Now, my dad
it seems
always
strange that you're comfortable with this level of violence as well. You know, 3 guys walk into my house, I'm going to shoot them. Fuck me, I'd be scared out of my life. You've just killed 3 people.
No, unless they had a gun and aiming it.
Maybe it's my gun.
Not necessarily that we see it as. Necessarily right. If I was a gun owner and someone came in here looking to rob us or whatever, like, yeah, I'm gonna look at him and tell him, you know, hey, you know, take whatever you want, whatever, because I mean he has control. But at the time,
not if you have a gun.
Right. But at the time, right. But he don't know that. Not entirely. Not when he first walks in there. He does not know that I own a gun.
So right? if you own a gun, you're gonna let somebody come in your house and take whatever they want.
No.
I'd rather do that than kill someone.
Listen where I'm coming from, right? So someone comes in, right? Well, somebody's at my door, right? I go answer it. My gun's nowhere near me, right? This guy has the gun in his, in his possession, whatever.
All right, well, that was a bit of information you let out there first.
Right, that's what I was trying to say. But I don't have the gun, right? I'm gonna let him come in, right? But at the time, right, that he turns to go to use it or whatever, then that's the split second of, that's the life or death. Right?
It's your life or death in that situation.
If someone is pointing a gun at you and saying, "Give me your money, give me your stuff," they're probably not going to kill you. If someone comes in and starts shooting at you, completely different. And guaranteed, if you're pointing a gun at someone who's broken in, they're going to start shooting at you.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So
it's your life. I'm not.
If somebody breaks into your house with a gun, you're shooting to kill them. I'm sorry.
But
you're not gonna
my point is,
there to kill you.
My point is, no one in England is going to break into my house with a gun. I know that because there are no guns. And that's the whole point of the thesis, right? If you get rid of everything, it sucks for you guys because you love guns.
You're not going to get all the guns.
It takes it down. And not to start with, you're not. You put massive restrictions.
Get them away, period. Chicago's had these fucking gun laws for over 20 years. And
you can't say no because it's happened in England, it's happened in New Zealand, it's happened in Australia. Australia's huge. You know it's just down there. It's fucking huge. And they had 1,000,001 guns.
World.
It took about 20 years. Don't get me wrong. It took 20 years. It took 20 years to filter out the gun population in Australia because they're like you guys. They loved their guns, but they got rid of them, and now more. No more of that.
Yeah, what are you going to do when your government?
I don't expect you to change your mind here, but genuinely try and think about it, guys, because it is the choice between Second Amendment or this is going to continue. It won't change. Whatever restrictions they put in, whatever laws that they pass, if it's not across the whole of the states, if it's not uniform, nothing will change, and it will keep happening. And it's a really sad state of affairs that you guys seem to just accept.
All the laws that they propose aren't going to change
Anything.
happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to get rid of them all, or you just say this is the way it is. Suck it up.
With seconds count, the police are minutes away. The quickest a cop can get to me is 15 minutes. In my condition, I can't take 1 or 2 people for 15 minutes. So I guess I'm just dead. I'm not even here.
With all this being said, it just makes you think, can't we all just get along?
There you go.
See, that goes to a society is a polite society too. In case in point is Kennesaw, Georgia. Like I said, they've been laying off police forever down there because the crime has dropped so drastically. It's almost non-existent.
This is a really divisive subject, and I think that's why it's so interesting
from
to
this
debate.
is we either all have guns or we don't have guns, and that solves the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no. Well, you having guns just keeps the status quo. You get rid of all the guns, then it helps.
It's complicated.
No
matter
what
you
right.
say.
I feel like the reason that it's complicated.
I'm gonna get shit on in the comments for this, by the way. All of the Americans, fucking.
They're gonna cut.
They're gonna come in. What are you coming?
Both, right? Like I'm an open-minded person, right? You all know this. I'm open-minded as open-minded as anybody can get, right? But I feel like the reason that this is such a really device topic, or it's all situational, right? It depends on the situation that the 2 people or however many people are in at that time, right? I mean, yeah, if a guy's here, like I said, if he's here with a gun, right? I mean, he's looking to get what he wants, so give it to him, right? But then again, I mean, it's a split second that he's like, oh, no witnesses or whatever, and he's going to point the gun at me. That's when it turns life-threatening.
That means you're a dead man because you ain't got your gun on you.
Right. But if he's there, right, just to rob me, right, he has the gun, he has power, right? Okay, let him take whatever, right, and then the police, whatever, do their thing. I'm still alive. I mean, I'll side both ways, right?
You're out $10,000 worth of personal property, and your insurance rate on your owner's insurance just went up skyrocket.
Everyone's still alive.
Replace everything that was taken.
But you're not a murderer. You didn't kill anyone. Everyone's still alive, and you haven't got to clear up blood in your house.
Well, here's the thing. He shouldn't have been dumb enough to break into my home.
It's interesting.
It's decisive because there is a million scenarios.
But take the gun out of it. Take the gun out of that situation that Sense has just gone through. Someone breaks into your house. You don't know whether it's life or death. But you in your head know that person doesn't have a gun. How does that change your response? In that situation, just think about it for a second. Someone's broken into your house, but absolutely fucking know they don't have a gun. Because no one has guns.
I think
how does that change?
So I'd start talking.
Yeah, exactly. You talk to them. Oh shit, sorry mate. Fuck. I'll do whatever. Take the stuff. Do your thing. You're not fearful for your life. You're this person's unstable. They've got mental issues. They're here to rob me. But you don't think this person's going to shoot me any second. And that's the difference between a gun. If he's over there and he's got a knife,
Because I'm a girl. I don't.
no, you would.
I would.
You would be scared.
If it was a larger male or something, I'd fight him to the death.
I don't need a gun.
And that's the whole attitude,
Okay, that night when the boys, everybody else had guns, roaming through the out in the dark. This brilliant bunch of people left me in the dark with no light and no gun.
You the one stayed outside, darling.
I had to take it home.
Okay,
So here I am, and I'm told them a thing in 10 what I would do to them if they even come near me.
And
And
that's
that's
all
all
I
I
had
had
was my
was my
mouth.
mouth.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Another point.
Valid point.
Different
ways
ways
to
to
do
do
it.
it.
Right. I mean, around here, that's why I get so. That's why I'm so paranoid on like Leah going off by herself, right?
Yes.
I mean,
We are in
because you
danger.
never know, because I mean, guns are a thing, right? I mean, anything can happen anywhere, anytime. I mean, right now, for example, right? Anything could happen to anybody, any one of us. It could happen. But that's
The human
again,
are
that's-
unpredictable.
yeah. That's exactly right. It's the humans. It's how their thought process is, or where they're at in their head, or wherever. I mean, it's just where they're at entirely as a person, and I guess that's why it's such a device.
I'm in this chair.
but I mean, I guess that's why it's such a topic, because I mean, there's so many different ways and so many different points of views that everybody has on it.
And I see it.
I see it from both.
So
There's been
There's
so
been so many
heartbreaking
heartbreaking things that I've seen even in our life. I mean, I had a small cousin when I was small too, and her brother didn't know that the gun was loaded. Somehow he got the gun and he shot her. And
Here's a
took her.
case in point that I read in the news just this
Terrible,
morning.
Daisy.
And it was
That-
really sad.
There was a lady 1:30 in the afternoon walking her dog in San Dominguez, California, which is a pretty good place. And there was another gentleman out just walking, and this crazy asshole came up and tried to assault the guy that was walking. He got away and ran to his car. There was the 66-year-old woman had her dog snatched up and stabbed to death, and then the guy stabbed her to death. If someone would have had a gun, that would not have happened.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but it's a hypothetical. Maybe it wouldn't have happened, but it did happen.
It did happen, and that life of that lady and that dog would be alive now. And
Let me turn that round. Well, it's terrible. That's an absolutely terrible thing. But what if the guy who had the knife? What if he had a gun? How many more people would he have killed?
That
None.
guy
It
that
both
ran
ways.
away would have been dead.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
The dog, the old
man
lady. Now I've got 11 shots left.
be dead himself.
But the point
Well,
is, a knife, you're going to kill one or two or three, and you've got to be in very close proximity, and you've got to put the work in yourself. A gun,
Does
you
it
can stand
matter
a long
how
way off and just
life-
freeze.
A life is a life. That was someone's mother, someone's daughter, someone's sister, aunt.
No, absolutely,
Don't matter.
100% it does. But we're trying to talk about damage limitation. We're trying to talk about stepping away from multiple, and a knife kill is much harder to do on an individual as the person actually carrying that out. Mentally, that's traumatizing if you haven't done something like that. So, what is your
Is this coming from somebody who speaks from experience?
But what is your aggression going to be like going into the second one? First one, you go in hot and heavy, and then you've got to do it again and again and again. With a gun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a completely different thing.
Or we could go to Zimbabwe back 30 years ago when they were doing genocide with machetes. And it was gangs of 50, 60 of these people chopped people's arms and legs and heads off with machetes. What about that?
What about that?
Well,
I mean,
you could.
With a knife,
Hang on,
well,
let me make
okay,
this point.
that they get initiative and say the Crips, a certain set in the Crips, guns are gone. Okay, there's 30 of them, and they all have knives, and they go into a bar. There's 30 people dead right there just by knives. It doesn't matter. That's my point. It doesn't matter. People are going to find ways to kill people in mass or singular.
I absolutely agree with you, but the point is to limit their options. And at the minute, you're telling me that you can give an AR to someone else, and they can give it to someone else, and they can give it to someone else, and that's completely legal. That's an issue.
Well, it depends on the person. I mean, I would never give my AR to anybody.
Yeah, like you wouldn't. Yeah.
This isn't about you, though. I think that's why this
but
issue is
again,
because it's personal.
And
Isn't it?
that's
It
what
isn't
that's
about
what
you.
they do. we have an expression over here because I was offered to buy a gun on the street one time. I asked him, I said, how many bodies are connected to it? And he says, I got no idea. And I was like, you're fucking crazy.
Yep.
I'm not buying fucking pistol off the street.
Um,
And that's what the criminals do is they use it, they get rid of it and pass it on to somebody else.
So someone else can get blamed.
Yep.
So HR1 and HR127, I believe it is, that does no good. The criminals are going to do it regardless.
Long
Long
shot,
shot, how do gun shows work?
Do they
Do they
have
have
Gun shows you
gun
have
check?
they run NCIC and they run FBI checks. There's no loophole in the gun shows like the news is telling you. It's bullshit. It's just raising fear in the
There
population.
used to be. There used to be.
Well, years ago, you didn't have to used to do all of this shit. I could order a rifle from Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you remember that.
So
Forgot about
going
it.
back to going back to the story about the old lady and the dog and the guy that ran away, right? If there was a gun there, right? Okay, like you said, right? See, this is where it goes both ways again, right? He, there was no gun, but he stabbed that lady and that dog, right? And then, somebody still died. But with a gun, I mean, I feel like you're trading a life for a life, right? No matter who owns the gun, whatever, I mean, you're still taking that life for another life, right?
And that
impacts
you're
someone
trading.
else.
The innocent lady or the guy that's going to shoot her. I'd rather
the guy,
bitch fall.
right, that's what I'm saying. But you're still taking the life, though. I mean,
Doesn't
this is where
matter
I'm
what
coming,
you buy.
and this is where I'm coming from with Apsy's theory about taking them. But again, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never really had any issues with guns. I'm not for or against them. So I mean, that's just.
Just to say, I'm absolutely for guns. I think guns are fantastic. I love guns. Got a shotgun myself. I fucking
Yeah.
it's brilliant. I go shoot and like a clay pigeon and bacon butty and cup of coffee out the van and everything. Bit of the English countryside. Fantastic. I think that's what guns should be for. It should be you cutlet dogs and you're shooting pheasants and they go and get them for you. That's
Yeah.
what guns are for me.
And that's what most gun owners in America do.
Yeah, it's
They're
hunters. That's what I own. I own a 12 gauge
But
shotgun.
the point is, over here, that's our mentality. That's what we go. And you say most of Americans are like that anyway. It's the great outdoors and it's the tradition and all of that. So you can do all of that, and you can, but without certain types of guns. Over here, our shotguns, we don't have like the 12 gauge or the pumps or anything like that. It's 2-barrel. Or at very most, you can have a semi-auto it's limited to 3 cartridges in it. The rifles is limited to 4 shots that we're allowed, and we're not allowed pistols at all. So you can do all of the traditional shooting and the great outdoors and the hunting without the other bits. And I think it's the two camps. It's the person, well, there's 3 really. It's the person who collects guns and likes guns just because they like guns. There's hunters and go out there and shoot them, and then there's self-protection carriers, right? I think we don't have the self-protection carry element, which is why we're not that, wrapped up in someone breaking into our house and they've got a gun and all that sort of thing.
Back to the learned behavior, I really do think we have a different kind of mentality, like almost like of frontiers, like upbringing that has been passed down through generations. Because like we talked about Hatfields and McCoys and things like that, we come from that. Where we actually had clans that would attack each other, and I think it's just not left us.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is learned behaviour. It is, you're either taught that it's acceptable and okay, or it's something else.
Back when I went to school, they used to have classes on gun safety in school.
Yeah, we did.
When I went to school, a lot of farm kids would bring their shotguns to school with them in a rifle rack in their pickups because they went hunting before school and they're gone hunting after school. We didn't have all this school shooting shit back then.
So where did the middle
break happen?
Well,
It happened when I was
But back then, long shot. Can I ask you, were they like, what type of guns were in circulation when you were in high school? What sort of guns could you get? What was the gun everyone wanted?
shotguns, 22s, 30-06s, 30-30s.
Hunting weapons.
Yeah, magazine fed also.
Okay. So I think that, again, that's the difference. The type of guns that are around now. Like, so it looks so fucking cool, guys. It's from a Polish company, and it's the Wi-Fi shotgun. It's called a smart shotgun, right? It's got like camera on it. It will monitor your heartbeat as you're doing whatever you're doing. It's got like all of the Wi-Fi, so it connects to your phone, so you can video as you're going through and doing whatever you're doing. And like half of my brain's thinking that's really fucking cool, and the other half of my brain is thinking, fucking hell, that's going to be some disturbing videos.
Well, they have a thing over here also for disabled people that are
Quadriplegic.
quadriplegic, yes, and people in wheelchairs that, and we have some ranches out in the Southwest that have lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Oh my.
And what it is there's a rifle set up with a scope that has a camera, and you can articulate the rifle back and forth, up and down, through control that the person is controlling, and they can hunt big game like that. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, that's
a really
I mean, the
interesting
technology
point
is
as well.
cool, but I don't agree with doing it like that.
So like the whole big game like argument about going and shooting lions and zebras and
For a
giraffes
selfie.
and for a selfie. So there's the argument that isn't it terrible, which is fair because it is a bit terrible that you want to go and do that and derive pleasure from that, but fine. And then there's the massive argument that says zebras and lions and zebras and everything are being like bred hugely for the game industry. There's so many more of them than there was 20 years ago because of the conservation work that we need a herd so we can get 10 of them to go and shoot. So we got all of these other zebras to mate and blah blah blah. So
And then it brings money into that community.
huge amounts of money into like the poorest, remotest Africa. So the whole game industry, it's easy for people to go, oh, we should leave nature alone and we should just observe it. But then when species die out, I don't know.
I don't agree with that mass breeding just for that. If you're gonna hunt, the way it should be is you're gonna feed your family, you're gonna feed your village or your friends. Now, if they're giving the meat
Away.
to villagers
it
from
goes
that,
back, yeah.
then that's kind of okay. But just mass breeding to
Just to
do that,
shoot them and kill them.
that just doesn't sit right in my stomach. That's kind of strange coming from a gun person, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
More
would
lions
never
in
shoot an
Africa.
animal.
But
I
there's
would
more-
always shoot targets.
There's more lions in Africa now because of hunting. Like that's a hard one to side on, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, white rhinos are endangered real bad, and regular rhinos are too, because people are going for the horns.
That's
Is what they're
poaching.
doing to
That's
counter
very
that. Yeah. Well, they still
Bears
kill the
here.
animal though.
The bear gallbladder. You have
Yeah.
to prove the Thor bear has a gallbladder. We don't get to
Yeah.
have bears here, do we? But
Yeah.
that's a big deal. The gallbladder is.
You don't have bears down there?
Yeah, we got bears.
I didn't know if we could get tagged to shoot them or anything.
Yes, they give out a license to I think up to 5 people per year.
They
They
increased their population as well.
Probably why I have them in my front yard.
Yeah.
No, I also carry my pistol with me when I go camping, because we do have black bears here, and I know a 45 really isn't the best choice for a black bear, but I can only hope for a headshot.
I
But
would
yeah,
have thought you'd take a shotgun or something.
Shotgun ain't gonna. That just piss it off.
well, unless you have.
Yeah, slug.
But we also have coyotes. We have feral dogs,
Yeah.
and I do primitive camp, so I'm not right where I can run back to
Well,
my.
I can attest to that.
Now it's definitely quiet.
Everybody got quiet real quick.
I was thinking of like the dust tumble. It is a divisive subject, and
It's a topic that's not gonna ever go away quietly.
Nope.
no,
It's a necessary evil.
Do you guys feel like there was a turn though, like when it became like where do y'all pinpoint mass shootings? I
Columbine.
remember Paducah.
Columbine was the first big one.
Well, we had Paducah was the first one. I had think I was senior or I had just graduated. So that would have been 97 most likely. And I don't think that he killed nowhere near as many as Columbine, but it was bullying when he went in. I think he probably shot at Miss Bible.
The deal with Columbine was how much publicity it got.
Yep.
That was the first one that really was like all over the news.
Yes.
And
I mean,
that set a precedent for that.
Since you're young enough that you went through high school after Columbine and everything. Was it ever like a concern? Were you ever worried about this sort of stuff going on, or was it you just didn't even think about it and you're just being kids?
Dude.
Tell
him, baby. Okay. Tell him how many times you have had to go hide in the school. Can you even count?
You've been involved in school shootings.
We all have to hide.
Well, okay. So one that I can distinctively remember is when I was in no, I've never been involved in school shootings. No. Personally.
They call the alarm.
Right. I can remember distinctively. I was in grade school. I think I was in I was middle school, so somewhere in between 6th to 8th grade. There was this guy who escaped prison, and we had to go on lockdown for it. That's when I can distinctively remember, because he got out of prison or something.
But the original question was you were aware of these things happening as you were growing up and being in school. Was it ever a concern for you in your general schooling, or were you just didn't pay it no mind, or what was that?
Eventually they became desensitized because
What were you saying, Sense?
I'm so sorry.
I'm
sorry.
You know what?
I mean, it never really and another time it happened was in high school. We had to go on lockdown for it because somebody else had gotten out of prison. But I mean, not necessarily. I can't really count how many times we did lockdown drills. I mean, I know
you feel like it's numerous?
It was quite often, yeah.
And that's to practice if someone
No, it's not just practice. Because I know that when Tamia was going to PCC for the first 2 years, she was in at least, say 8. And it was so common that someone was calling in threats or someone had escaped up at the prison. It's numerous things. Someone escaped from the mental home. And they would lock it down. They would sound the alarm. After a while, the kids quit. They didn't even go hiding no more. They went to the chicken business.
We always did.
By the time Tamia got there, they was just burnt. And I remember.
We always, when we did lockdown drills, we always took them very serious back when we did them, because we know they would be like, oh, we're going in lockdown drill and whatever time whenever we drill it, and then we would all have to get in a corner of the room, turn all the lights off, lock the classroom door, and everybody had to be quiet.
So this is what the children of America are having to do
and
to prepare
will
for
not
a mass shooting.
put up a metal detector.
That's mental. We never had to worry about anything like that.
They had to teach my handicapped daughter how to not get killed, because if you ever tried to make an autistic person be quiet, the point is to hide and be quiet. And then when they taught her, they bragged on her that evening. She did so good today in our lockdown. She was so quiet. Yeah.
I mean, what is your comeback to that? Because that is such a poignant moment there, Long Shot. What is your comeback to that? That kids are having to do this because the right to bear arms.
We had to do nuclear bomb drills when I was in school. Crawl underneath your desk and cover your head.
Like that's going to protect you from a friggin'
but that's
from nuclear fallout.
No, it's a comparison though. I mean, these are drills.
My question was, how do you measure
I
the
agree.
two? Your children are having to do this to prepare to not be shot, and you still stick by everything you said.
None of my kids had to go through that.
It's the reality now, right? You can't just.
Their children don't have to.
I have no experience with that per se. With
So
any,
if
my
you have no
family, so-
experience with this, why are you so adamant when you hear it from people who've gone through it, who live it, who have to do the drills, and they're saying enough's enough, sort it out, stop it, and then everyone who is not really has anything to do with it because their kids didn't have to do it or their past.
Well,
Why is it then put on
How
us?
about we address the main issue with the gun violence, and that is, like Daisy said, mental illness. That is the main reason, because most of these people that are doing this shit are sick in the head.
And a majority
You'd
of
have to
people
They're
be.
in
delusional.
You'd have
So
to.
let's address the main
should
issue
have
instead of
diagnosed
going
with something
after the
mental
gun.
health.
It's not the gun. My guns have never killed anybody. Causes guns have never killed anybody. It's the mental illness that is the problem, and that's what we need to address. But people won't address that.
And they won't
address
a
fortify in the schools. I mean, the reason that you have to shut down the school and hide everyone is because you just can't simply put metal detectors up.
They want
all the guns.
They want all the freedom.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
I mean,
like,
listen, you have to
this
defend
whole-
schools.
yes,
That's why we have. That's why we have officers in the school now. We have police officers that walk the.
We have one officer, right? I'm not going to tell you his name, but he's an officer, and he's the only officer that was ever there.
Yeah, we have
And
one
he
at
was
each
over-
school,
he
I
was
believe.
over
Everything
1,000 kid.
Everything that you guys are talking about are symptoms of the bigger problem. Like, if you eliminated the possibility of, or the likelihood that somebody would go in there and shoot up a school, then everything you're talking about would be not even an issue.
But if
You
they
wouldn't
weren't-
need metal
they weren't-
detectors. You wouldn't have to fortify the school.
You wouldn't have to run drills. Your kids wouldn't have to think, I've got to be quiet, otherwise I'm going to die. What sort of world is that to grow up in?
Addressing mental illness is part of it. But
Why do you think these kids are
it's
going
not
mental?
everything.
This is their reality. You're talking about fortifying a school,
And
metal
people make
detectors.
fun of Gen Z all the
Drills
time,
for
and
sort-
This has been their whole life.
What sort of people is that going to raise? What sort of fear factor are they going to have?
Sorry.
They're nervous.
They're
They're
paranoid.
paranoid.
Their
Their
own
own
medications
before they're out of fifth grade. They
can't sleep at night.
They have to have medicine for that.
They don't
want to go to school.
They just,
I mean, it's just
a
a parade of ways that
then they become less socially involved.
They just want to stay on their computers, talk on Facebook,
make
make
friends on
Discord.
and they don't.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
But you know, they aren't even experiencing life because it's made them
have
social anxiety.
No wonder why, you know. So at what point do you say this is so fucking harmful to our children, it's not worth it? When is your line in the sand, long shot? When do you cross over and go, no, actually, this is a bad idea? What does it take?
He's
It's-
looking at it from a different point of view than you.
I'd like
so
to hear
there
from
is no
Longshot.
line.
I'd like to hear from long shot.
Like I said, we need to address the main issue, and it's mental illness. Just about 90% of the people that are doing this shit are mentally deranged. They have some sort of psychosis. You got to start with the main source, and that is
Mental health.
mental health.
And it's shame.
I know plenty of people that own guns, and I don't know of any of them guns that have jumped off the shelf and shot anybody.
That's
Why?
not the
Because
issue here. The issue
Yes,
here
it
is
is.
the
that's
you
it.
know,
is.
it's
No, we're
not,
not
man.
saying we're not necessarily saying guns are the issue. We're saying the people are. So right. So
Mental-
when does it? What we're saying is when is it going to become a point to where something needs to be done about something like
What
how
is the
far
line?
How far is it going to have to go before we
Say
actually
enough's
start
enough.
figuring out no. Okay, this is better, right? When is it going to become to a point where we start somewhere? We need. I feel like that's the biggest thing. We need to start somewhere to get anywhere, right? You need to start. You need to have a starting point somewhere to get somewhere.
What's the starting point?
Right.
Well,
That's the thing. But what
You
is
said
the
that you said there's
Starting point is
50,000.
mental
You said
illness.
there's 50,000 gun laws on the books.
Correct.
gun laws don't work then.
Exactly. That was my
Get rid
case
of the
with
guns.
Chicago, Los Angeles.
So
Washington,
if the
New York.
gun laws don't work and you can't control it, and your kids are now having to live this life of fear, what's the answer? You come on, what is the answer?
The answer is
Not
the
taking
mental
my
illness
guns.
we have to
You're
address.
not gonna get people to give up their guns, apps. It's not gonna happen.
So how
Then we need to
So
take
what is the line in the sand that actually takes you
There is
guys
none. That's
as
what I was saying.
there's no, so it doesn't matter how many
Because
kids die. It
responsible
doesn't
gun
matter how
owners
many
don't go. No.
No, so you're saying it doesn't matter whatever happens.
No, it's not a question
never
of
gonna
matter.
change.
Nope, that's not saying that. A responsible gun owner is never going to say, I'm going to give up my gun because that's going to solve this problem. Because it's not their guns causing the problem. It's not the guns being in their hands
No,
is not causing
you're not. You are
No,
part of
it's
the
not.
argument for legalization. You're part of the argument to keep the guns there. At what point, at what tragedy do you say, okay, guns are actually the cause of this? It is mental health, but it's far too easy. We need to get rid of it. Our kids are living shit lives because of it. We're talking about fortifying schools. At what point do you go, maybe if we just got rid of them,
No,
we would get rid of all these problems?
no.
Responsible gun owners are not going to give up their guns. That's what I'm saying. I don't own a gun. I'm playing devil's advocate because I know a lot of gun owners, and not one of them will
There's no
ever
line.
give up their guns. No,
There's
there
no
is
line
no
in the sand.
because they're not the ones breaking the laws. So from their point of view, they're not the cause of the problems, and them owning a gun or not owning a gun is not going to change that problem.
But you are part of the problem.
No.
I don't own a gun.
Somebody else thinks.
No, not you, obviously.
No,
I'm
no,
talking about the,
it's
you know,
not.
But
the person making that argument that I'm a responsible gun owner, or I just use it for personal protection, or I need it for my safety, or you are part of the problem because you're feeding into this narrative of we need to keep the guns. And if you get rid of the guns, as we've seen in so many other societies around the world, it fixes all these problems. And the fact that your kids are developing all of these social disorders and paranoia and depression, what is that doing to their developmental phase in their life, where kids should be running around and being happy and making friends and making all these social commitments? What is the next 20 years of America looking like? You're going to have all these socially defunct people coming through.
You're going to have socially defunct people because of a myriad of reasons, not just because of
I'm sure.
fear of
I'm sure.
gun violence.
But we're specifically talking about
Yeah.
fortifying schools, gun drills in schools, police officers having to be in schools. That is mental to someone who didn't have to go through that as a child. I didn't have to deal with any of that crap. It would probably scare the life out of me. I think there has to be a line, otherwise it's just going to carry on.
If there was going to be a line, don't you think it already would have been crossed?
That's
mean,
what I
That's what I
was
was
saying.
going to say.
Like
How is any?
you know,
It's almost like our scenario with what you forgive again and again.
When we
We talked about that.
What do you
What do you
rationalize
rationalize and absorb as this is what life is? This is how we live it.
Are you willing to give up alcohol to save a life from a drunk driver? It's the same damn thing. No, you're not. So you're not going to get rid of the alcohol. You're not going to get rid of the guns. You're not going to get rid of the mass shooters. You're not going to get rid of the drunk drivers. That's it in a nutshell.
How do
You're
we
not going
help?
to change our mind. We're not going to change your mind. We're just going to circle the wagons and circle the wagons and circle the wagons and rehash old stuff over and over again. I
And
mean,
kids will keep dying.
yeah, and kids are going to keep dying because of drunk drivers.
That is such a bad argument.
No, it isn't. A life is
Okay.
a life.
No, it is a
Okay.
bad argument. You can't correlate the two between a drunk driver and a mass shooter. The two are very
Okay.
different. And it's bad. No, it's bad debate.
A life is lost either way.
It's true, but we're
And
talking
it-
about the
it-
form
in
and
a
the
lot
how
of
and the why.
cases,
Yeah,
They-
yeah. How is that life lost? What did that person have to go through? Was it an instant, or was it suffering, or what? But like,
Bullying is 9/10 of the cause of the mass shootings in school. People
yeah.
being asses to you to the point where you can't take it no more, and
And then you have enough of it, and then you finally hit a breaking point.
But if you didn't have the gun on the shelf, then you wouldn't be a mass shooter. You can get bullied. You can get hurt. People are mean. Kids are horrible.
Yeah,
But we don't shoot each other. We don't reach for that gun because it's not there.
Right.
I think
it's a breakdown.
The health system
is
failing
failing
people
people.
as far as mental health.
Exactly,
They
exactly.
don't do.
Right.
They don't.
It's
spot
it's
the
the
weak
health
one.
system, right?
Baby, let him talk.
If there was someone,
Sorry.
right, able to help the health issue of everything, right? Like what? Like none of this would be a problem, right? The bullying wouldn't happen. But then again, right? If the
It would
if the
happen,
person
but
the person the
Kids are
person
kids.
that's being
person would be
bullied,
trained or
Kids are
something.
kids,
I
mate.
don't.
People are going to
the
get bullied.
person
It's
the
just part of
person
it.
being bullied, right? They would either do a mass shooting, or they would finally hit a breaking point, and they'd be like, "All right, I've had enough," and they'd go and they would, do
Miss-
something.
See,
Yeah,
again,
something.
that's so backwards. Like, I was taught if you're being bullied, you punch that person. And if they come back and bully you again,
We
you
get in
punch them
trouble for
again.
that.
You know, I
If
mean,
you
no,
don't,
and
if
that's
you
part
don't
of the problem there.
verify
You
with
don't
the
raise your kids right.
counselor, listen. I had to do this with Leah. Leah, I mean, that's how I was raised. I was like,
Yeah.
well, knock the crap out of them
Yeah.
if they
That's
gonna
how I was
treat you
raised.
like that. But I told her that, and she got in trouble. And they said you have to inform someone at this school that that person has done something to you before you hit them. Before you're
Yeah,
letting
yeah,
them. They're
and you
allowed
nod,
to hit
and you
you.
nod, and you nod, and you go, yeah, absolutely, that's the way, and you should. And when you get in the car park, you go, well done, you did the right thing.
They'll
there."
sue you.
Nah,
Your
like,
going
parents
back
will
I
sue
think
you.
that's part of the problem as well. How kids are raised in the sort of nanny
Yep.
state of things. I 100% buy into that as well.
Kids that are being bullied that go in and do mass shootings, they get their guns one of two ways. Their parent or
Mom
a
and
family
dad,
member is an irresponsible gun owner, knowing that they have kids,
exactly.
those guns aren't locked up, or a friend of a friend of a friend can get a gun.
Yeah, it's
Criminal.
true. It's true. It's not the kid's gun; it's someone else's gun. You know. And if they didn't have someone else owning a gun, if the gun wasn't on a shelf or on top of mum's wardrobe, or that kid would be angry and upset and feel victimized and bullied and would probably have to talk to his friends about it. And that's completely fucking part of being a kid. It's character building to be picked on.
It is, but we've been pussified because you aren't supposed to fight anybody. You
But I
can't
don't
put
agree with
your hands
that.
on anybody.
I don't agree with that. If someone's trying to put you down and trying to stand over you, you have to stand up for yourself. But not with your gun, with your fists. And that's it's just part of growing up, I think. And that's lost, I guess.
I think the child's brain is it's a complex thing too because I don't think up until a certain age that they have the ability to see multiple outcomes to a situation.
Tunnel vision.
They are right there in the moment. My life is ending. These people have hurt me. I'm going to hurt them.
Their brains aren't developed
Yeah.
enough to have critical thinking. They don't have the fight or flight in them at that age. I mean, when you get to be 12, 13, into your teen years, I guess, you kind of start getting it, well, you're going to come up and stand up and act like you're all that. And, it's not going to happen with
Assert
me.
your
You're going to
dominance.
knock on your ass.
So after all this debate, we have gotten absolutely nowhere.
Back there where we started.
Well, we got
nowhere on the guns,
but we did reach a few agreements elsewise.
I enjoyed sparring with you, Longshot. I think I was thinking there was a really good, healthy debate there. I think we covered a lot of topics. And
Yeah,
I'm sure people who are watching this, if you made it this far, you've got some comments as well. If you post them, we'll read them and maybe come back to them.
One more thing.
If they're anti-guns, Longshot will definitely come back to you.
One more thing. When I was 17, I had a fully automatic M16 and M14. When I was 18 and 19, I had an M60 machine gun. That's a
Longshot is a Marine, for anyone who doesn't know.
And that's where it goes back to being a responsible gun. I didn't own them myself. They were issued to me by the Marines, but that's where I really learned about weapons and what it takes to possess one.
Yeah. And again, all of this debate, Longshot, is not about you personally. I know and fully respect you as a respectable gun owner.
And that he shows respect in how he is saying that he handles
I get a little bit passionate about it, but
that's the wheel. Oh, that's good.
I'm 65. I'm old. I don't give a shit.
Well, guys, that was the KEBG podcast, and next week we're going to be talking about the. In saying this, I can see Daisy's itching. Go on, mate. What's your last point? Let's hear it.
No, I'm good. Okay.
I got my.
Oh, that was anticlimactic.
I just told him we lose
For who
he was. That's what it is. We live by.
All of
All
us
of us for what we bring to this.
100%.
We get in heated debates like this, but at the end of the day,
We're still good friends.
We
prove
prove that
And
people
we're gonna crash each other off on a racetrack in a game somewhere.
There you go.
Yes.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
back
back
dying.
But we prove people that a multi-generational, multicultural group can talk. We don't have to agree.
We can
We can talk, and that is the number one thing that people don't do. They don't listen
and
and talk and debate. They just say, "This is my point, and I ain't listening to you." So we don't do that.
That's why it's important, right? You've got to debate, you've got to argue, we've got to find common ground. But guys, that is the KEBG podcast. Next week or the week after, we're going to be talking about how gaming has changed all of our lives and sort of where gaming started and where it is now. Hopefully we'll see you there. Bye everyone.
See you.
See you guys.
Bye.